I think a lot of us would like to hope there is such a thing as a perfect partner. That person who completes us in every way possible, who can kind of meet our needs and our wants, knows exactly what we're thinking. I mean, we're kind of fed that message if you think about it, whether it be from movies or magazines. Just think we've got Will and Kate, and also the Beckhams. And I think a lot of us live in the hope that we'll enter such a relationship, find that perfect person for us. At City Psychology Group, couples quite often come to see us, and we kind of see the same pattern with a lot of couples. It always seems to be our partners, the people who are supposed to love and cherish us, who also know how to wind us up and really push our buttons. A lot of couples go through the same sort of dilemma. They meet someone, things are going really, really well, and they enter that honeymoon phase, if you like. Their partners seem quite perfect at this stage, and things continue to go well. They might not say what we want them to say, but might not do what we want them to do. And we're kind of left a little bit disappointed as reality sort of bites. Unsatisfied, we might try to change our partners in some way to see if we can move them towards perfection, or we might try and change ourselves. And this sometimes can work, but often leads to more trouble and stress. With this dilemma, what do we do, I suppose, is the question. When working with couples, one of the first things we do is to get them to consider their partner's strengths and assets and qualities and what they really bring to the relationship, and at the same time try and see if they consider or accept their differences. We also think about what we can do ourselves as partners, try and think about how we can make the relationship better. One of the first things we suggest for couples to do is to think about their partner's strengths and qualities and think about what they bring to the relationship. And then to see if you can consider their flaws and accept some of those flaws, just like they probably accept yours. We also ask couples to consider how helpful it is when they get hooked on thoughts and negative feelings about how imperfect their partner is. Thoughts such as, he or she should just know what to do. After all, they love me, don't they? I wonder if that sounds familiar. So as well as considering our partner's strengths and trying to accept their differences, and also trying to think about the partner we want to be, if we can try and let go of some of those imperfections, those negative thoughts and feelings, we can really make our relationships fulfilling and go back to the honeymoon phase and start enjoying ourselves again. For a long time I thought relationships were supposed to be easy. Couples come to see us at City Psychology Group all the time, and from working with a number of them, I've realised I wasn't the only one. I think over the years, from my clinical experience, what I've realised is that actually relationships aren't easy, and at times they can feel effortful and hard work. And now it seems obvious to me. Just think about it. In a relationship you have two people with different thoughts, different feelings, different ways of doing things, and different expectations when it comes to relationships. So how are you supposed to get along all the time? It doesn't seem possible, does it now? When things feel tough in our relationships, at this time communication can go out the window. We seem to lose our ability to communicate effectively. We often get caught in that thinking trap known as mind reading, that idea that our partner should just know what we're thinking and feeling and do as we say because they love us after all, don't they? When it comes to communication, there are a few things you can do that can make your relationship really effective. The first of these is to think about a good time to communicate what's going on. So it might be at the weekend or after work. So timing is really crucial. You might even need to wait until some of those feelings of anger and frustration have subsided and then, approach the conversation. The other thing is thinking about honesty and being open. We really need to be open and share with our partners our difficult thoughts and feelings about what's going on. We should try and do this without blaming either, because remember, those thoughts and feelings reside within ourselves. They haven't been put there by our partners as such. We often suggest to couples to think about using phrases such as, I think this, and I feel that. That seems to work really well. A lot of us only see the need to communicate negative things in our relationships, but actually positive feedback is just as important. If we can actually say to our partners the good things they're doing in our relationship, then they might do more of those behaviours and we might be pleasantly surprised. The last thing is thinking about listening skills. And actually, just as our partners listen to us, we need to listen to their thoughts and feelings too, and validate those if they need to be validated. So try it yourself. Try these simple communication skills and see how you go. Hopefully your relationship will be all the better for it. We know that effective relationships require a number of different skills: communication, acceptance of differences, problem solving, negotiation, compromise, honesty, the list goes on. And ticking all those boxes simultaneously is a tall order, if you ask me. So what do? How can we truly make our relationships the best they can be? Well, if we strip it all back, one of the first things I do with couples is get them to think about the kind of partner they want to be. So for a lot of people, that's around being loving or caring or kind or contributing to their partner or the relationship in some sort of way. Once partners identify what we call values, the kind of values they want to show in their relationship, we can then think about how we can act on those values. I'm not talking about grand gestures here. It's really simple things that we can do for our partners. To show that we're loving, for example, we might cook them a meal or organise a night out or send a loving text or email. When couples act on their values, they don't do it because they feel they have to, or they don't do it because they think they're going to get something back in return. They do it because they want to. We act on our values because it shows the kind of partner that we want to be. A lot of couples also have values around their own needs, such as things like self-respect. And at times when their needs might not be met, they need to be assertive and communicate that to their partners. They might also need to set boundaries, for example. But again, when we act on these values and communicate this to our partners, we can do it in a love and caring and kind way. We don't need to do it aggressively, for example. The great thing about values is that they reside within us. They're there at any time for us to act upon. They're not kind of controlled or influenced by other people's feelings, thoughts or behaviours. What we often see is that when partners start acting in line with their values and demonstrating the kind of partner they want to be, relationships somehow become much more fulfilling and much more meaningful. A really good book about this and about relationships in general is called Act with Love by Russ Harris, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dr. Romina Taylor, Clinical Associate at City Psychology Group. Check out our website at citypsychology.com, or feel free to email any questions on this topic or anything else to asktheexpert@citypsychology.com.